Hey, the date is what day is it? October 12th. It is a Sunday. And for this week's video, I wanted to experiment with kind of just a walk and talk kind of thing. I'm in a random kind of barren landscape. I'm not going to describe it, but for this week's video, I wanted to talk about something that I had a recent conversation with about a week and a half ago. And I thought it would make for an interesting video. Um, for this week's video, I wanted to talk about what the source of frustration is, what that source is. It is related to anger, obviously, and potential ways that you can deal with that emotion, anger. So, anger, the source of anger is injustice, is a sense of injustice, injustice that has been done onto you or into somebody else, which affects you. Um, and the whole idea of the inability for men to express a wider range of emotions that are socially acceptable has been kind of battered on as a topic of discourse for as long as I know. It's kind of only touches the surface of the whole topic, I think. um, which, and there is some truth to it, but when you think about why that is, well, when I think about my own upbringing and how anger had been perceived, when you're angry, especially if you're a guy, I can only speak from my experience, it's synonymous with violence. And when you're with women, obviously you don't want to express that in an unhealthy way, right? Um, it seems for a lot of people that a maladaptive means to solve that, to not express that anger in a violent way, is to repress it. But when you repress that anger, you ignore that source of sense of injustice. Again, that is either been done onto you or onto somebody else that affects you. And what that transmutes into is frustration. Frustration is essentially just a prolonged, um, is repressed anger over a prolonged period of time that transmutes into frustration. So, what is the solution to this? How could you mitigate this from happening? How could you, you know, not fall victim to this? Because if you ignore it, it slowly disintegrates aspects of your life. It keeps you from being able to be vulnerable and open and develop meaningful relationships in your life, whatever kind of relationship it is, whether it be platonic, familial, or romantic. So, what I've learned is that a couple things. One is to identify that source, to sit with yourself in silence and to identify what that source of anger is, and to ideally do it sooner rather than later before it transmutes into frustration, because when it does, it just becomes a lot more difficult to deal with. Um, and if a long period of time has passed, sometimes just identifying the source and acknowledging it isn't enough. I acknowledge that. And what's helped me and what's helped people that I know personally in my life is somatic therapy. Things, activities, physical movement that allows you to, in a healthy way, express that anger and release the energy. Because anger, emotions are just energy in a way. So doing things that allows you to healthily release that anger is incredibly helpful. Combat sports, kickboxing, boxing, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu, running is an incredibly helpful somatic therapy when you're running. And from the running that I've done extensively this year, at least, what I've noticed is that at the end of your runs, you are both physically and mentally exhausted. And so the veils and guards that you put up in your mind, subconsciously and subconsciously, they get undone, and they force you to face those sources of anger head on. Um, yeah. So I just had this conversation about a week and a half ago. I thought it was very interesting, and I think it could help people. So I just wanted to make like a quick video on it. I thought it could be helpful. Whoever's watching, if you think this kind of subject matter is interesting, or it's like what you like to hear, leave a comment, leave a like, leave any input you'd like, and I'll definitely read it. Anyways, that's it for this week's video. Um, Let me know if you have any comments or whatever in the comment section for anything else you'd want to hear about. And I will see you on the next one.